You know, Donald Trump seems sometimes like the most culture-obsessed president in modern times. So it may be pretty painful for him to see so many cultural leaders blast him over everything from police brutality in the NFL to what we've been discussing tonight, this policy about splitting families at the border. And the biggest moment in the culture right now is definitely relevant to today's politics. A rare joint album from the most famous power couple in music, Beyonce and Jay-Z. Artists so big they've drawn strong reactions from Trump and Obama alike.
She can't get anybody to go to her rallies, so she gets Jay-Z.
Do you like hip-hop?
Of course.
Who do you like?
You know, I got to admit, lately I've been listening to a lot of Jay-Z. I mean,
Okay.
this new American Gangster album is tight.
That's Jay. As for Beyonce, she's become more than a musician in American life. She's often called on to embody America itself, headlining the Super Bowl halftime show and joining the ranks of Aretha Franklin and Frank Sinatra to sing at a presidential inauguration.
And the home of the
Now, recently, Beyonce and Jay have released their own albums documenting his cheating and the arc of their marriage. But now they've unleashed a joint album, Everything Is Love, that celebrates their journey. They literally sing, "Can't Believe We Made It." And if you have not seen this yet, what you're about to see, which a lot of people are talking about, is what it looks like when you take two works of art, immerse them in more works of art to create a new work of art. This album tackles a wide range of issues, Beyonce touting the importance of generational wealth. She says her great-great-grandchildren will ensure a lot of brown children on your Forbes list. She packs all kinds of layers of references, citing, in fact, a classic moment when a rapper demanded respect on his name.
Put some respect on my name.
And she says, give me my check, put some respect on my check, or pay me in equity. Pay me in equity. The first equity is about pay equity for women. The second is about getting more than a paycheck and getting paid in an equity ownership stake. Meanwhile, Jay-Z, who campaigned for Obama when he was a senator, using this new album to attack Trump's hypocritical complaint that Jay uses swear words, rapping, "Your president tweeting about Hove like he knows us. My road to the top was to take what you owe us. I give an F what that man, Trump, find vulgar. Just look in my eyes when you toast us." Now, for more on how this whole album came together, we turn to two people who produced 4 of the songs on the album, Cool and Dre. They've worked with Jay-Z and Beyonce in Paris and have produced for other artists like Fat Joe, DJ Khaled, and Lil Wayne. I'm also joined by Danielle Belton, editor-in-chief of The Root. Thanks to everybody. Cool and Dre, everyone is talking about this. What was it like working on the album? What are your highlights? And what should people who haven't heard it yet know?
Oh man, first of all, Ari, it's good to be on your show. One of my favorite shows on MSNBC.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. The album was amazing to work on, to be in the same room with these two genius talent level artists, you know, arguably the best at, in both fields. As far as Beyonce and Jay-Z, it was surreal. It was like a life-changing experience.
Definitely.
And this album is amazing. Like, you know, it's being received so well. We feel very fortunate to be a part of it.
And go ahead, both of you. Anything to add?
Cool, you got something to say?
Yeah, I mean, like Dre said, I mean, basically we've been doing this for a long time, man, and this experience was definitely something different. Just being in Paris and the way they had the studio set up, like they literally had owners' boxes in the stadium. So we're like making music and looking to the right or to the left, and you see the stage with all the lighting and all. It was just a lot of inspiration to work off of, and you know, when they came in and then heard the music and went and did their thing to it, it was just another level.
Danielle, what does this album mean, particularly when you think of the role of Beyonce?
Oh my goodness, it's been so amazing just to watch her transformation over the years. When I think of the first Jay-Z and Beyonce collaboration that I loved, which was Crazy in Love, to now, the amount of growth that she's made both as a singer and the fact that she's opened up her lives to us. Like, these songs are autobiographical. It's like almost like reading a book that's set to music about her marriage, about her family, about her kids. It's really poignant, and I'm impressed by it.
Take a listen. You mentioned autobiographical, and this is something that people, I think, are both intrigued by, but so hard to relate to, how much of this is out there with their marriage. This was Jay-Z talking about it in a recent interview as therapy.
We were using with our art almost like a therapy session, and we started making music together.
What does it mean to women, the way she's dealt with the problems in their marriage?
Well, I think it's interesting when you're someone as powerful and as beautiful and as talented as Beyonce. It really humanizes her. The fact that this is something that a lot of women go through, where they're in a long-term relationship, a partner might stray, and you have to decide whether you're going to stay or you're going to go. Are you going to work on it and grow together, or is it time to like split up and fall apart? And Beyonce obviously has decided to double down on her marriage. She loves Jay, like that's evident in every song, and Jay loves her. Like the fact that on Chris Richards with the Washington Post, is a pop music critic there, basically said they're each other's favorite rappers. Because Beyonce's, you know, she's spitting bars on this album, and it's incredible. And he writes that it's easier to relate to Jay-Z because obviously he's a Beyonce fan too.
He is, I believe he is a Beyonce fan.
He's hardcore.
Dre, on that point, because you guys were in there and as a part of this, doing 4 songs is no small measure. I want to read one of the lines. This is from 713. You kept me up on the phone while you were away. You came back. I let you set the date. Nobu on the plate. I brought my dude to play it cool. My first foolish mistake. Do you have any insights into that exchange about their memories of their first date? Dre?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I remember, like, yesterday, Jay called us into the room to hear the song, 713. And originally, it was just supposed to be like a hard club beat. But Beyonce told him that she wanted to do like a hardcore love song. So he pulled this record up. And when he cut it, he called us into the studio to hear it. And when we heard the verse, before he did anything, he was like, yo, I've never ever spoke on how, like, me and Beyonce, how we met and anything. So he's like, this is gonna be crazy. So when he let us hear it, he was just like, yo, can you believe, like, I brought one of my homeboys to like our first date because I was trying to like play it cool. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, I mean, I'm no expert on cool, and we have someone named Cool with us, but I guess I'll put the follow-up to you, Cool. How would it ever be cool to bring a guy friend to a first date?
I mean, you know, it made for a great song, you know what I'm saying? But it was real. It was real, and he was like, yo, I brought my man just, you know, to kind of like make things cool, but it was the worst thing.
Can you help us out? That's not cool, is it?
That's hilarious, but it really humanizes Jay. Like, that's what's so impressive about the last 3 albums by Jay-Z and Beyonce, is that traditionally they've been such private people. They really kept how they felt about everything to themselves, whether it was their marriage, even in some cases their politics. And in the recent years, they've really just let it all out there and put it out there in the open for the public to consume and to make a choice one way or the other about it. And it's so impressive. And it's so relatable. I've found it a lot easier to get into their music, their latter music, than it was when I was younger, when they were doing, when Beyonce was doing much more pop flavor.
When it was more about perfection.
Exactly.
Speak to Danielle's point, Dre, and whether you saw that in the way they approach the art or working with them on this album. The idea that they're now at a stage as parents, as business leaders, where they're more interested in discussing attainable imperfection that you can live with or that's real than maybe, I don't know, fake perfection.
I mean, you know, Jay and B, their music has always been based in reality. That's one thing we always appreciate about them. But, you know, the one thing we notice now is that they're very, very conscious about, you know, the power that they have, the influence they have. And they want to make sure that the music they create now, you know, has some positive lasting effects. And the one thing that we really respect about them, these guys, both of them, they have so much going on in their life. Just working with them as they prepared for the tour,
Definitely.
the multitasking that they were doing
Right.
was just unbelievable. Like, you know,
only
Jay-Z's
imagine.
running, yeah, he's running Rock Nation Sports and Rock Nation, and now Puma, and Beyonce's running Parkwood and all that, and doing a tour together and still finding time to get in the studio for 2-3 hours to cut music, and
Right.
you know, it's
It was impressive.
wild.
It was
Yeah.
impressive.
I gotta do what I did to an earlier guest and say Senator Kamala Harris is now, I'm told, seated, so I got to get her in as well. We had a lot of important
Sure.
people. Cool and Dre, as we say in the newsroom, big fan. So thanks for coming on. And Danielle
you so
Belton,
much.
thank you. Thanks. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.